hair is not going to cooperate today. Another artist that has the ability to transport me back to another time, many, many years ago, is Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams is somebody I first learned about when he had a hit song in the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves soundtrack, Everything I Do It For You. Now, he had been making hits for many, many years before that. He had basically owned a good portion of the 80s with his ability to commandeer radio. But that song, the power ballad from that big hit movie, catapulted him to a new kind of stratosphere and height. He dethroned Kenny Loggins as the soundtrack champion of the world. Kenny Loggins had, of course, had hit songs in like Caddyshack and Top Gun and Footloose, and here comes Bryan Adams, and he takes that from him, and this begins a string of, he's got after this like the Three Musketeers and Don Juan and that Disney movie about the horse, I think it was. There's a ton, and so I learned about him at a very young age when that happened. I loved that song. So many of my friends, you know, that was kind of, as we were coming of age, we're like 12, 13 years old, we're going to middle school dances, that was the song that we all danced with our little girlfriends, held their hands. You know, many of us when we were like 13 have stories about having that as our song with whoever. So when I first learned kind of who Bryan Adams was that way, I went back and discovered all of the things that he had done before, things like Cuts Like a Knife and Heaven, and the song from this album that was such a big hit, Summer of '69. I began doing Summer of '69 in my live sets way, way, way back, actually, with a band that I used to play with called Breaking News, consisting of a bunch of people from TV news stations in Augusta.
Was the summer of '69?
We were all good friends, we all played different instruments, we got together and we formed this band that kind of grew and morphed and changed over the years, and we would play local festivals, and we would play sometimes at different bars and clubs around town. That lasted for about 5-6 years, and then after that the band wasn't really active anymore. I was, you know, starting to go out and do solo shows and play things on my own, and so I started incorporating Summer of '69 into my sets after somebody shouted it out at that gig with me and Jason Sabo in Blacksbridge Pub.
What's that?
Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams or Ryan Adams? I know some, but it's too high for me to sing.
Yeah, that's
Summer of '69.
you probably drop it down.
We're gonna figure this out. I think I got that one. We're gonna try it. And
There's no guarantees, all right?
my voice may crack, but we're gonna try.
And I went home and brushed up on it and started playing it when I would go to Wild Wing and when I would go to O'Hara's, and so it just kind of worked its way back into a normal part of my set after that. It's a great song. It's very catchy. People know it. People love it. They'll sing with it. It's instantly recognizable. So from the first line that you sing, people know what it is and they kind of get involved. Heaven was another big power ballad. It was also from this album. I've done that in my sets as well. Bryan Adams was definitely the king of power ballads and the king of soundtracks, but his kind of chart success is legendary. If you go on Wikipedia and you look at the singles and how they charted through the years, that is not a man who struggled in any way to find an audience and to sell records and to get attention for the type of music that he was making and to find people who identified with the songs that were in his heart. That's a guy who had great success doing it. On some level, he still is. And I know if I'm in a used music store and I'm digging around, through records and CDs, and I see a Bryan Adams album that I don't have, I usually will pick it up because I know it's something I can take home and enjoy. I know that I'll find something on it that I identify with, and I've just enjoyed really kind of like tracking the metamorphosis, I guess, of his style of music, the rock that he makes through the years. To see how he changes and evolves is always something that I think appeals to me and to many, many other people. So without further ado, I would like to show you one of the times where I've performed Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. This is another one where I don't have a particular performance in mind. I'm just going to go through a few of them from back when I was doing it regularly, find one that I think, sucks the least, like I tend to do, and show you that one. So I may, like you've seen before, I may put some little subtitles on it or something for some context if it winds up being a gig that has any kind of a small story behind it. That's one of the benefits, I think, of picking the performance before I record this video, because then I can share that context like I did with the Jason Sabo gig or the Castle gig from Atlanta. But this is one where I'm just going to pick it, see what happens, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, here is me, Brandon Mullis, singing Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. My light is providing a nice halo over the angel of a man whose music you will soon enjoy in just a few moments. So I hope you dig it, and I hope you come back for more very soon with Story and Song. And me, yours truly, Brandon Mullis.
Got my first real six-string, bought it at the 5 and dime. Played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of '69. Me and some guys from school had a band and we tried real hard. Jerry quit, Jody got married. Should've known we'd never get far. Oh, but when I look back now, this summer seemed to last forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Ain't no use in complaining when you got a job to do. Spend my evenings down at the drive-in, and that's where I met you, yeah. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. It was the summer of '69. Yeah, we were killing time. We were young and restless and needed to unwind. I guess nothing can last forever, forever, no. And now the times are changing. Look at everything that's come and gone. Sometimes when I play that old six-string, I think about you and what went wrong, yeah. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you'd wait forever. Oh, and when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life. Back in the summer of '69. It was the summer of '69. Me and my baby in '69. There you go.